Hello YouTube, we are back and today we're doing something I've been looking forward to doing for so long. I've talked about this a lot before, some of you may know, and that is doing the front wishbone, mainly these roll centre ball joints. Now I've wanted to do these for a long time. We've also got the Superpro bushes going in both sides of the front wishbone. These are the caster bushes as we would have seen in the last video. Now firstly, just to let you know, I bought these from Rival Motorsport. They haven't sponsored me, but they did help me out in sourcing all the parts, and I just sent them a message. They got me everything I need, sent them out. So Rival Motorsport, there will be a link in the description. So roll centre ball joints, as you can see, that's a standard one. That's the Hardrace one, and it is 17mm longer according to my measurements. If you want to get it, it's listed as a Meister 2, and that is the part numbers you need. Like I say, this one is caster, so it's an off-centre bush. I'm going to show you exactly how to fit that, how to get it in the right position in the arm as well. Now, with most of my videos like this, when I have to do things two-sided of the car, what I usually do is I film the first side. So for instance, I'll film the passenger side, and then the driver's side I'll do off camera. Now I've done that completely opposite this time. I've already done the passenger side, purely because I thought I want to get all of the mistakes out of the way, see how easy, see how difficult it is. When it comes to filming, it should hopefully go smoothly, but it was easy, it was a doddle. I've done it all with its vice. I needed nothing more than that. Getting a ball, well, you'll see, we'll get to it and you'll see. But for now, before we start, the first thing we're going to do is put this in the freezer, and that's because we want the metal to shrink so it's easier to get into the wishbone. So before we start anything, let's go and plonk this in. So there you are, nestle it in with your food. It can sit on top of these chicken pies, so that'll be in there for an hour or so. That will shrink that, and we'll be back to see him in a bit. Right, as you can see on the car, I've got the caliper off, disc is off, and that is purely because I've already taken bump steer measurements of the standard setup, so I got a reference to work to when it comes to the wishbone being on with the roll centre ball joints. Now that 17mm I told you about, dropping that on, and that is massive. That is huge in terms of adjusting your roll centre. To gain 17mm is going to be spectacular. So anyway, I wanted to really watch the bump steer video because you will be shocked how much bump steer the standard setup has. I was shocked. It's way more than I imagined, so if we can improve on that drastically, where the ball joints will improve it, there's part of me thinking it's so far out standard that it could improve it, but it also could swing it worse the other way. But that's for the next video, stay tuned, I don't want you to miss that one. So what we're going to do now is start by, we're going to take the ball joint pin out, and then we've got two bolts under there. You got this one up under here, and then that one under here, and also I've got my brake cooling duct to bolt off as well. So let's get cracking. Alright, so that's it, wishbone is off. First thing I'm going to do is get the ball joint out. Now, the other one came out easy yesterday, I just hit it out with an hammer, so hopefully this one will come out exactly the same. Alright, so this was how I done it. Just 2 pieces of aluminium chunks. Under there, another piece I've just whacked it with a hammer, and after a few whacks it come out. So let's see if it works on this one. There you are, he's dropped about 5mm already. Easy as pie. What an easy job. Right, so this is what we'll do next. We'll get this bush out. So what I'm going to do is just WD-40. Right, I've got this set in the vise like this. Now, eagle-eyed of you will notice that I can't push it all the way out because the vise is going to hit this. But what I did with the other one is we'll push it the first 5mm. Then once it breaks the bond of it, we'll finish off hitting it out with the hammer. Right, so let's crank him up. The rubber of the bush will squish. Right, let me just get a bar to put on this to extend it. Work smarter, not harder. Right, so I'm going to lever this up. I'll hold it there and you can see what's going on. Hopefully that should... oh, I'm not even showing them. Should start to pop. There it goes. Right, so it's got it moving. It hasn't quite gone square because we're not sitting square, but that's alright. What I'll do now is release out the vise and then we'll just smack it out with the hammer. There you are. Once again, easy as pie. So for this bush, what we're going to do now, we're going to make two cuts. We're going to cut chunks off here and off that side, so we've got something to brace against the steel. So you can use a hacksaw blade, saw, or a knife like this, which is what I'm using. So take a few goes. Right, so that's where you're left with then, two cutouts, and I'll show you exactly where you need to do that now. Right, so that's that. It's out. There you are, all done. Well, that's the arm now fully stripped, all the bushes, ball joint out. What I'm going to do now is show you how to line up and set your position for the caster bush in here, because obviously it's positional, and what you want to do, if you can imagine that arm was mounted, that you want to bring that mounting all back so the arm basically does that. It kicks it out, kicks the arm forward. So I'm going to show you how I set up and how I get a repeatable position for where to put it for both arms. Right, so what you're going to do, set your arm down and you're going to use this bush mounting point as your reference. So straight edge, straight across from that, and we're going to put some markings on there. Just like that. Right, so this is how I'm going about it now. I've put this in the vise, and the two marks we made, I actually scored them with the Stanley knife just to make them clearer. So I've lined them up in the vise, put a little bit of a steel packer and space. What we're going to do now is use some set squares and do some markings out here. So this is where my years as a carpenter comes in handy. So first thing I'm going to do is measure, it's not measure actually, make a reference point. So basically from the edge there, I'm going to put a mark on the vise. I'm going to do the same, put a mark on the vise. Then I'm going to measure and find the centre point, and then I'm going to use the square to then mark 90 degrees opposite them two lines on there, because on the bush there's a marking point that runs opposite where you want the caster point. So I'll do these markings now and then I'll show you what I've done so you understand it better. Right, so there we have my three markers, both outside, and then I've centered it. So what I'm going to do now is go 90 from that, and then put a score mark here. Right, so hopefully you can see that mark now. That's exactly where the bush is going to line up to. I'll show you in a bit where that mark is. What I'm now doing, as you can see, is making use of the hob. I'm going to bake that up, get it nice and hot so the metal expands. I see the bush is in the freezer. So once that's expanded, we'll be straight out to the vise and start pressing it in. So I'm going to leave that there for 10 minutes. I'm going to go and prep the vise in the shed, and then we'll get straight back to pressing them in. Right, so while that's cooking, actually, let me just quickly show you that mark, because I realised I hadn't showed it to you. So let's bring it into the light. If I put it there, you just see that marker there. That's what's going to line and point up to the mark that we just drew out on the wishbone. Right, so here we go. This is cold, this is hot. And I'll line him up, and then we're going to press him in. Give him a tap there, get it started, check my alignment. Yes, happy with that. Right, we're going to push into the hits first just to get it in. Right, so now we've got to set up some little spacers to finish him off. Right, so we're going to measure now on about a 5mm stick out on that. There we have it, smack on, got it right in one. Right, so that was quite easy to get in. See the frost forming on the bush. Right, as you can see, that is smack in line, and with the pivot point now being further back here, say it's going to kick the arm out. So that is mostly done. We've got the insert bush and to grease it all up, but we're going to do that later. For now, we're going to move on to the other bits. Right, we're going to do the bush now at the other side, and for this we're going to use the grease that Superpro supply. We're going to smear it all over here, and then I'll smear one edge then where it's going to pop in. Right, come on. Yes! Success! It is in. Right, so now we're going to pop in the rest of the bits. This thicker steel one. Right, so all of this gap in here, this bush is a pivot one. So you see the bush is tapered, so all of that we're going to fill them up with grease, both sides, before we put the two cap-in tops on. So that's that one done. Right, what you want to do with this is inside it's all like knurled. You might not be able to see it, but the idea of that is to contain the grease. So we're going to get plenty of grease inside there before we put the steel tube in. And there you are. So I've just got to finish it off a little bit more, but you can see how all the grease is coming out, so it's pointless putting too much in because you lose it anyway, but at least you know now that you've got plenty in that knurling. Right, so now it's time for the ball joint. Now these are press in, they're not too hard to press in because they're retained with circlip, which we'll get to in a minute. But I say the first thing to do is to pop them in. The rubber seal gives a little bit of resistance when you start, so just be careful with that. So pretty much past the rubber seal, so now all I'll do is set him up and pop him in the vise to finish it off. I've got a socket here that's just a nice fit inside there to press it through. So now I've got it started, we can see that I've pushed the pin up out of the way so it clears as it goes past the vise. It's not the easiest thing to get in there and set up. So you can see how I'm doing it, look. See how I got the pin now, so it'll up and clear past the vise. So let's crank on him. There she goes. Just a little bit more and it should be fully on. Right, that's it. Right, so in the kit now you've got a circlip that goes round and keeps the ball joint in, and then you've got like a spring type clip that keeps a rubber boot on. So we'll do the circlip first. Now when I've done this on the other one, this was the hardest part of the whole job, and I'll show you why now. Right, what I struggled with was I just could not get this circlip to open up enough with this kit. It just wouldn't get anywhere near it. So after about half an hour I came up with this idea here, and what you do is, I can't remember, let's switch to this one. I can't remember which one I used exactly, but you put one in the pin and one outside of the pin, so you get your little centre securing bit in, and then that allows it to open up so much more, and that was the only way I could get this to work. But even then, I'll tell you, it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy at all. So you're gonna have to like pry this. Oh, it's come off and over. So you're gonna have to get it started by hand to pull it over, because obviously it's partly open. Nothing about this was easy. There you are. It's already under mega tension, so let's make sure that's pushed back in. Right, let's see what we can do. They say this was the hardest part of the whole job, because when you try and open it, it wants to twist as well. I hope I got the camera in the right place and can see what I'm doing. So I got this problem that's happening. You can see even though the ends are down there, it like does want to twist. You've got to keep like twisting and moving and jigging it down. It's opened way past where it's comfortable, to be honest with you, but you can get it done. Get a screwdriver to push it down. That one's in. So there we have it. It is in. Right, so just that spring retaining clip now. That, and that's a little bit easy. You just work that down, fumble him down until you get it where it needs to sit. Yeah, let's double check everything, make sure the circlip is where it's supposed to be, and that is the ball joint finished. Right, so that's everything done on it. It's ready to go back on the car now. Before anybody comments and says why didn't you paint the wishbones and everything, that was my original plan, but as you all know, we're in lockdown. I don't have any paint or anything here. The car parts shop that I use not open, and I can't be bothered when I'm making unnecessary journeys anyway, so it is what it is. I've wiped it over some oil. I mean, it's 6-year-old. It hasn't done bad in 6 years. It's not as crowded as I see some. I'll do. It'll last me another 6 years, so it's time to get it back on the car. Right, so when I was doing the other side, I had exactly the same problem as what I've got now. It's really hard to get that bush in. It does appear like the steel shaft is a tad too long, so I've hammered it till it's underneath. What we're going to do now, I'm going to put the jack in there. This is what worked on the other side, and then just press it up into place. It's trying to roll out. Oh, there she goes. It's a very tight fit, very tight fit. Did that bolt just snap? Yeah, buddy, it did seem like the torque wrench malfunctioned and wasn't clicking. I think I went too tight. Right, well that's what it's done to the bolt. Here I've stretched it. So the torque wrench wasn't clicking. I've had that happen in the past with that torque wrench. I felt like it was too tight, to be honest with you, but yeah, I got a funny feeling I got some old spares to tie us over. I thought I had some replacements here, but I don't, so I've just gone on the internet and ordered some. Like I say, we're not going anywhere anyway, so I can't drive the car. I still got to get the roll centre done, so I'll probably pinch the bolt from the other side and swap over so that we can, the bump steer, so we can do all of that. So come back for the next video, because nobody has done bump steer measurements on a Fiesta ST that I know of. So, well, nothing on YouTube anyway, so we'll be putting this gauge to use. I'll show you how it works, and we'll find everything out in the next video. Hopefully you've enjoyed me fitting these wishbones, doing the ball joints, doing the bushes. Wasn't an hard process at all really, so don't forget, if you want to take a look at Rival Motorsport, link in description. Right, for now I am done. I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.